Have you ever felt like everything in life is falling apart and you can't catch a break? What if one small change in the way you think could completely shift the path of your life? This story shows exactly how and why hope matters more than you think. Sit back, grab your popcorn, and enjoy. In a quiet coastal town in England, where the cliffs met the roaring sea, lived a young man named Thomas. He worked at the lighthouse, keeping the lamp lit for passing ships. Thomas was dependable and diligent, but lately, life had been relentless. The stormy season had damaged the docks, his boat was broken, and the town's fishing trade had slowed to almost nothing. One evening, as Thomas was walking along the cliffs, he noticed a small figure huddled against the wind. It was an elderly man, Mr. Hawke, known in the town for his quiet wisdom and uncanny calm. Thomas had seen him around, but never spoken much. "Evening, Thomas," Mr. Hawke said, his voice steady over the wind. "Trouble seems to follow you these days." Thomas sighed, staring at the waves below. "You have no idea. Nothing is going right. My boat is wrecked, the catch is poor, and I feel like giving up." Mr. Hawke nodded. "Sit with me for a moment. Tell me, what is it you think will happen next?" Thomas shrugged. "Nothing good. Storms will come, debts will rise, and I'll fail. That's all I can see." Mr. Hawke smiled faintly. "Ah, but that is the trap of the mind. We spend our days imagining the worst, and the worst is exactly what we notice first. Let me tell you a story." Thomas listened closely. Years ago, there was a young gardener who lost his prized greenhouse to a fire. He had no seeds, no tools, and no money. For weeks, he wandered the market in despair. One morning, a stranger said to him, "You have nothing left, yet you still have hands and eyes. Start with what you still possess." The gardener began by planting a few seeds in an old barrel. Days later, the first sprouts appeared. Each day he nurtured them. Over time, his garden grew stronger than ever. His fortune did not change overnight, but his mindset allowed him to act. The first step changed everything. Thomas looked out at the turbulent sea. "You mean, if I change my thinking, maybe I can handle the storms better?" "Exactly," Mr. Hawke said. "Hope doesn't magically fix things, but it gives you the strength to keep moving." The next morning, Thomas returned to the lighthouse and whispered to himself, "Today, I will focus on what I can do." He spent hours repairing his boat with whatever materials he could find. He mended nets, patched leaks, and checked his lamps. Days passed. Then, during a quiet morning, he noticed the first sign of good luck. A shipment of fresh nets washed ashore after the storm. He repaired them, made a small catch, and sold it at the market. Slowly his life began to improve, not because luck had changed, but because he had changed his mind. Weeks later, Thomas returned to the cliffs to thank Mr. Hawke. "I didn't believe it would work," Thomas said, smiling. But somehow, thinking differently made the impossible feel possible. Mr. Hawke lifted his old lantern toward the rising sun. "Light doesn't chase away every shadow, Thomas, but it shows you enough of the path to keep moving forward." The story of Thomas and his small victories spread across the town. People began to focus on what they could do instead of what they feared. Slowly, the town grew steadier and stronger, not because troubles disappeared, but because hope had returned to the hearts of its people. A hopeful mind cannot remove every hardship, but it gives the courage and clarity to endure them. When the heart endures, life finds a way to change. There is only a reaction when there is motion. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment, tell us what take from these. See you in the next Countryside Tales.